So first off, let me clarify the boring part, but it's really important because the questions always come at the end. What is this survey? Who did you do it with? Who was eligible? How was it done? It was interesting for us because this was a chance to run a telephone survey with a random sample of Canadian businesses. Those could be some public sector, some institutional, but mostly private sector, and it's the gamut from small to large with medium in between. And we ensured that we had representation from all 20 NAICS Canadian industry sectors. So it's the range of sectors that you would expect to find if you said to yourself, let's do a cross-section of businesses and organizations. So we have industrial, we have resources, we have retail, accommodation, service, and other sectors. But it was important that we consider the really important role that builders and designers, architects play in energy efficiency, and knowing that they, as well as property owners, are somewhat distinct when it comes to responsibilities for energy efficiency. We have an oversample in here, which I'm calling the building sample. So to be sure, we've got the range of companies here, but we have 28% of this sample is in either construction or in architectural design. And so we have specific questions that we put only to them, and then by the end of the questionnaire, we really had 2 surveys, and I think you'll see that. I'll try to jump back and forth and make sure it's clear which of the 2 samples I'm talking about, whether it's this 72% of those surveyed, which I'm going to call the business sample, or whether it's the 28% who comprise the architecture and construction sample. And to be clear, this is out of 661 companies. So to kick it off, the view, to step back, the context for this, we thought, in designing this, would be concern about energy costs and concern about energy cost increases. And to be sure, most companies we've surveyed, in fact, at least half, if not the majority in every sector, reported that they were concerned about energy costs. One of the most, there are different distinctions within the sample. We talked a little bit about regional distinctions, but for us, the biggest distinctions between companies and organizations when it comes to energy costs and concern, and also when it comes to who's doing a great deal on energy efficiency, critical distinctions are smaller companies, those that rent space, which are typically smaller companies, tend to be less concerned about energy costs. Those that are more concerned about energy costs, and I took it for granted that we just finished this survey, but I should make that clear. We did just complete this survey, and so we're seeing much higher levels of concern about energy from those who use fuels such as diesel, gasoline, and propane, in addition to electricity and natural gas. So the more complex the consumption of energy on the part of the organization, the greater likelihood is that they are expressing concern about energy costs. And I think we know that when it comes to natural gas and propane, in Ontario at least, there was acute concern when it came to shortages this past winter. And so that's a really interesting way to consider who is more concerned about energy and why.